in session. We have an acceptance of the agenda. Is there anything that needs to be added? Anything? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the minutes. Need a motion?
So moved.
There's
Second.
been a proper motion and a proper second. Any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. Everyone ready to vote? All in favor of the minutes, signify by saying aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. On to us. Ordinances and resolutions. Let's go with 2022-23. An ordinance appropriating funds for the traffic signalization project. Before we start, I need a motion.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, I've been a proper motion, a proper second discussion. Anyone know and talk about it?
Jesse, or Sarah, we're getting 61,000 out of the stormwater utility fund, so there's plenty of money for that. I assume that this won't jeopardize any of the stormwater projects that we have on track.
Correct.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, super. Any other?
Yeah, so we're what is this money for exactly?
It's for the construction of the light synchronization project. The bids came in higher than anticipated, so this is to cover our 20% of that increased project cost.
Okay, so this is our 20% match.
That's right.
Okay. And I just had one question, a second follow-up, if I may.
Sure.
So we don't need the 61,000 for the fire hall roof replacement?
The 61,000 is coming from the stormwater
Oh,
utility fund.
yes.
But the 40, roughly 47,000, yes, we the bids came in favorably for the fire hall replacement
Okay.
project, the roof replacement.
All right, that's good to hear.
Yes.
All right, Mayor, do you have anything to say about
I
that?
don't appreciate y'all moving on.
All right, that's great. We will continue on.
So I do have a question. Have we signed the contract?
We have. Yes.
So I don't want this action to be an impediment to moving forward.
No, yeah.
Because 2 weeks, it goes on the agenda for 2 readings.
Yes.
So do we need to put it on tonight, waive the rule and put it on tonight? I don't want there to be any impediment.
I anticipated that question. I would encourage you.
Okay, I intend to make a motion then, Mr. Chairman, if that's okay, to put that on the agenda. It will go to finance as well tonight.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
So we'll have 2 major committees. Okay.
All right, if there's no objection, I don't foresee just the regular approval of it, but as far as moving it tonight, I would ask for you to, if there's no objection from the committee, ask for you to place it on the agenda at the appropriate time at the board. Is that proper? Okay.
Either I can or you can. If you
No, if you listen,
okay.
as long as it gets done, you're running, honestly, I don't care if this is on TV, you're running for election, I would.
I just ran through the red lights tonight and I want to
Okay.
get that work started.
All right.
So do you need to have copies of this for the board members that are not on finance and public works so that they can be briefed when I bring it up? Okay.
I think that would be appropriate. Can we get that done, Jesse? Think? Okay. I don't anticipate anybody
Okay.
voting no on
I don't
this.
either.
I mean, if they do, I would laugh at them.
Yeah.
You know, but we'll go ahead and do that. All right. Any further discussion on that?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay taking money from the fire hall and money from the stormwater utility fund? I know that it's all under public works, but I was just wondering if it's okay pulling funds from
Yeah.
different projects.
Jesse, you might want to answer that
Yeah.
question. That's a good.
No, we'd originally budgeted the fire hall around 300,000 based on some bids we got. But Sarah went ahead and did some work to separate some of the work, and we ordered the materials directly. And we saved on sales tax, and we got the cost down significantly. So even with this money that we're pulling from that line item for the fire hall roof, we still have more than enough in that account. And we had a surplus of some funds that we were able to dip into in stormwater. So it won't pull any money from any projects that we currently have.
Okay. All right, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay, good deal. Any further discussion on the ordinance at all? All right, is everyone ready to vote? All in favor of the ordinance 2223 is an ordinance appropriating funds for the city traffic light signal synchronization project, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. And we'll try to get that on the agenda this evening. We'll be prepared one way or the other on that. Sure that will pass.
And that will cover light synchronization. Totally,
Phase one.
phase one.
Yeah, but how many phases are there? 3?
Two.
2, okay. I couldn't remember whether it was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
We've been working on it so long, I just couldn't remember exactly which one it is. Okay, moving on. A passes, oh, I'm right on that, passes unanimously. Now we're at item B, ordinance 2224, an ordinance appropriating funds for the Saunders Ferry walking trail.
So moved.
Okay,
Second,
all right, there's been a proper motion and proper second discussion.
I just wanted to find out a little bit more about the city's tree bank fund.
Okay.
And does this project quantify using funds for the walking trail?
So the city's tree bank fund, those are funds that are specifically to be utilized for planting of new trees and whatever it takes to support those to get them rooted. And so this project does call out this exact amount of money for tree landscaping for this project. Now it can't be used for like bushes and things like that. They have to be actual trees, but I have confirmed with the planning department that oversees the use of those funds, and they have confirmed that that amount could be used out of that fund.
Okay, and then also with the stormwater utility fund, that's not taking them money away from any current projects.
That's correct.
Okay, because basically this walking trail probably would need drainage and things to address that as well.
That's right.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's all I have.
So Sarah, the GNRC has agreed to increase the funding on both light synchronization and this project.
That's correct.
Congratulations for that. That's good.
That is real
Good news. Good. Thanks,
Thank
Mayor.
you very much. Something.
Yeah.
Finance Committee will also discuss this tonight.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's great. All right. Just have one question for the. So, all right.
Mayor, do you need it moved tonight?
I don't need it, but if the board wanted to, if the committee wanted to, it's,
We have a light agenda tonight.
We might as well push it through. As far as I'm concerned, I'm always in favor of pushing things through. That's. If it's not like a political football, then, that's different. But
Okay.
this is such a no-brainer too, really. I would suggest you do the same thing.
Okay.
If it passes finance, I don't know whether it will or not, because I can't speak for them. I have not spoken to the chairman nor anyone that's on their members.
if you all would like me to, I would suggest, I'll mention to finance that you all sort of let the ball in their court. And if they feel like it should go forward, that would certainly be appropriate.
On this one? Yes.
I'll let
Okay.
them know that the other one, you all want to move forward and
Yes.
that
Perfect.
we'll leave that decision for them on the other.
22, 23, and 24, Mayor. All right, thank you. Just one question, just for the people out, because I know this is on TV, and people are interested always in the Saunders, anything dealing with walking trails. Where are they, just in a nutshell? Is it the old walking trail, Andy, or is it or is it going to be a new?
This will be a new constructed
Okay,
trail from Main Street.
right.
And it'll run down to where the Linquoya restaurant is,
Yeah.
and then it'll cross over to the lakeside and run along the lake down to Mallard.
Super. Andy, do you have anything to say about this?
I think it's a great thing for the lakefront property.
I do too.
It's gonna be wonderful. You'll be able to walk from Mallard Point all the way to Drake Street Park.
And a
On a
lot of
sidewalk.
people will use it. We've got a lot of walkers.
Mhm.
I know in Ward 1 we do, and I'm sure everyone else, everywhere else it is as well.
And this is a form of recreation, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So I would like for the staff to consider putting the walking trails under the Parks Department. Right now, it's under Public Works. So I'd like to sometime in the future have that discussion is, since it's a recreation activity, would it be more appropriate to be put under parks? So think about that and we'll talk about it later.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion on ordinance 2224, an ordinance appropriating funds for Saunders Ferry and Walking Trail? Hearing none, is everybody ready to vote? All right, all in favor of ordinance 2224, which is an ordinance appropriating the funds for Saunders Ferry Walking Trail, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, it passes unanimously. And again, that's going to finance, and the mayor's going to take care of the pushing it forward after us. I'm putting it all on him. Like most of us do, I think. Jamie.
I'll take their temperature.
There you go. That's smart response. Okay, let's go to item C, which is an ordinance 2225, which is an ordinance authorizing the abandonment of an unused portion of public right of way and unused public use easement on South Center Point Road.
So moved.
Okay, there's been a proper motion. Second, there's a proper second discussion. Where is that? I know where South Center Point Road is, until we take a left right there and go down. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you leave there, where does it go?
It's behind Mapco, kind of, that's where Century Steel is.
Yes,
So they're
Okay.
wanting to consolidate that lot and another, and in doing so, they're wanting to abandon the previously dedicated right of way
okay.
through the center of that property.
Oh,
And
I
then
see.
they will be coming back to dedicate right of way along the northern property.
Planning passed that last month, I learned earlier this month.
Is there anyone from Century still here at all? I'm just curious. All right, any further discussion on that? That seems like a pretty good.
I had one
Yes, sir, go ahead.
one comment. The property owner is not going to develop this, is it? Or is this just going to remain an easement?
I'm sorry, which portion?
Well,
I'm,
the entire section, I think it's going, because we're not going to be using it for a right of way for, I think it was going to be an extension of a Center Point Road at one time, or a Anchor Rockland Road.
Yeah.
So this will be a permanent easement. The property owner won't be building on this, will he?
the portion that's being abandoned, they could build there, but the portion that's highlighted in green along the northern property line, that portion would be, they would not be able to build
Okay,
in that portion. And
so
then, I'm speaking,
would they need to buy that easement from the city? If we are abandoning it, we can't just give it to a property owner.
no, we're abandoning it as a kind of a trade-off of sorts. So the intention for the original public use easement and right of way was for the Rockland Road extension. Since then, we've identified that once we move to that project and extend Rockland Road, that alignment along the northern side of the property was the preferred alignment. And so
Sure.
we'll
Okay,
be obtaining that property.
So it's sort of a, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, but in a nice way.
I believe so.
Okay, that's the way I see it.
Quid pro.
Yeah. We've heard that enough. As Americans for sure. Okay, any discussion on that? When this comes to the board, I'm sure there'll be some questions about it, but that'll be in 2 weeks. I'm not really. We'll be more prepared, or I guess the planning department, I can talk to them, or somebody can talk about that to them, because I understand exactly what they're talking about, but some of our other members may not. We'll have to do their due diligence on that. Any other
I do appreciate the property owner expanding the business.
Oh, yes, I do too. Yeah. Mayors or anything you want on that? Okay, hearing none. Is everyone ready to vote? All right. Ordinance, all in favor of ordinance 2022-25. This is an ordinance authorizing the abandonment of the unused portion of the public right of way and the unused public use easement on South Center Point Road, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Hearing none, passes unanimously. On to item D. Resolution 2240, a resolution ratifying the Parks Department special event application handbook approved by the Parks Board. Need a motion.
Set, moved.
Second.
All right, there's been a proper motion, proper second discussion. And
This is similar to what we did last year with our athletic handbook. Did some updates, updated some fee structures, made some additions where appropriate. Those additions are highlighted in yellow within your packet. Things like added note, vendor on page 23 of your packet. Vendor is responsible for leaving grounds in their original state, including removal of trash, setup, etc.
Good.
We, raised some fees where they hadn't been raised in a couple of years. The mayor, this was the original version of this. It went to the general committee. The mayor's going to make an amendment on the floor tonight. I believe that you can see on page 26 under additional items, the last bullet point. Event will be expected to contribute a donation or fee to the parks or local nonprofit organization that is either recognized by the city's nonprofit committee currently using the Hendersonville Park for play or has a physical address in Hendersonville. Quite often we get applications from people, as we had last night at the Parks Board. We had people from out of state wanting to come in and host an event. That's fine. They're for profit. That's their business, but we want to make sure that part of their profits stay here. And
Right,
adding that, it's always been kind of like the planning department, how we got like unofficial impact fees.
right,
We've kind of been able to work with groups and have donations here or there, but this kind of narrows down the scope where it really says in black and white, it's got to stay in our city or a group that's recognized by our nonprofit committees. So those are the major changes, if any. Questions?
We don't put how much of a donation or fee. So is that,
Kind of like I said, with the city not having specific black and white impact fees for developers, we're able to kind of negotiate, so to speak.
okay. Okay.
I wouldn't want like last night, we had a person who's going to host a grass volleyball tournament. We wouldn't want to hold him to the same standard as Bass Pro Shops.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
all right, were there any not this, well, obviously discussion, but there were dissensions, I guess the word that I'm looking for. Was there any dissension in the park board or?
no, sir, it passed unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Lee.
Mayor, do you have anything?
I do, and I appreciate that. I'm sorry, and we want to add one thing, is I think probably next year, I'm going to come forward with some ideas on how we define some of the nonprofits that we support. And what I might actually do is ask that we sort of reconstitute the nonprofit committee so that they can give us some guidance and something like this.
All right,
And that amendment is in two places that the mayor will make. It's on page of your packet currently. It's on page 26 and it's also on page 29 on the actual application, highlighted in yellow, both places.
okay. Now, will that be this evening or will that be? in
Yes,
20?
this went to the general committee 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
So it'll be, it's already on the
agenda.
agenda.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that that was one, so it'll be on. 29. And on this one here. Okay. All right, any further discussion?
I've got one thing. We recently increased player fees.
Mhm.
Have you seen any pushback from that?
We have not. I know some of the leagues raise their fees to cover it. So we have, but nobody's been up in arms about it.
All right, that's good to hear. I noticed you didn't include the turf field in these fees, just the grass fields. Can you rent the baseball turf field?
Sure, it's included in baseball, softball, and grass athletic fields. baseball, softball fields is two different categories, and grass athletics, like Memorial Park.
Okay.
Volunteer Park and so.
Because I know we've got soon,
Yes, it's probably the most rented field.
we'll have a turf soccer field as well, and I know that would be in demand.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you, especially for highlighting the.
Yes, that may
Yeah,
be.
Thank you very much. That helped me out because I went right to it.
Help me
I
out.
appreciate it.
I didn't do it, but help me out.
Well, you tell them whoever did it, tell them they did a good job on that. All right. Any further discussion on resolution 2240? Hearing none, is everybody ready to vote? All in favor of resolution 2240? Resolution ratifying the Parks Board special event application handbook and approved, that was approved by the Parks Board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously on there. Thank you very much. You read my mind. Let's go to item E. Resolution 2241 is a resolution authorizing the Hendersonville Rotary Club to construct a bicycle pump track in Veterans Park. Need a motion?
Second, I moved.
Second.
Okay, there's been a proper motion and a proper second discussion.
I did not know what a pump park was until I saw the pictures, and this is exciting.
So tell me a little bit about it. I
Yeah.
can see it up there. What's this Hendersonville pump track?
We got several guys here that would love to tell you about it.
Well,
It's
that's what
a
I'm
fun
here
and
for.
exciting thing. Let's go to slide 2. It has a few pictures so you can kind of see what we're describing.
Slide 2.
But
There you go.
basically it's maybe slide 3.
Slide 3. There you go.
There's some pictures, aerial views. But it's a miniaturized BMX track with rollers and banked corners so you can pump and gain momentum and speed at the corner and, flying out the other side. But a group of us parents have taken our kids around the country, basically traveling to different cities that have mountain bike trails, pump tracks and things like that. And we want to bring some of that to Hendersonville. So our kids love doing this. When we post pictures of it, families are asking us, where is that? And we're always in a different city. So we're excited to bring this here. The turns are about 4 to 5 feet tall. So it's not gigantic, it's pretty small. It's all made out of asphalt, so it's low maintenance and lasts for a long time because you just have bikes, scooters, skateboards, rollerblades, and I think that covers all of them. Basically, if it has wheels and kids enjoy riding it, then they can ride it on this pump track. So yeah, it'll be something new and exciting. Are there any questions? Or
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
So what Rotary Club is it? We've got 2 Rotary clubs in Hendersonville.
It's ours.
It is the morning club, one I'm in.
Alright.
So has the board, no one's from Rotary board, but the board has approved it.
and Dave's worked with them.
Mr. Berry specifically called me yesterday because I sent him the language and the staff report and all this. He said the Rotary board was all on board with it.
Okay, well, good. So how much do we anticipate it's gonna cost to build it?
We're still, so we wanted to get approval first, and then we're going to the vendors to get bids, and then from there we'll fundraise.
250.
If I had to give an estimate, 250,000. So we're looking to raise that money as a group and also look to trail grants if we can access some of that money from the state and see what we can do there to kind of pad that and kind of soften that price tag. We're also looking to get materials and equipment donated through local businesses to kind of pull more price off as well. So we're trying to do all the things we can do to make this happen as economically as possible for our group that's going to be raising the money, along with the Rotary Club, supporting us. So those are the goals there in that area.
So who will be responsible for managing and maintaining the course?
It'd be the Parks Department would manage it. The Rotary Club has agreed to reseal the asphalt within 5 years, but all other maintenance would fall on us and the Parks Department.
And the control as far as who has access, what do you rent it? Do you
No.
rent it or
It's
It's
just,
just open to the
That's one
public.
it's
of the
just
good
open to
things,
the
yeah.
public?
And that's the model in other cities.
Okay.
And it makes it accessible to people of all income levels, backgrounds, everything. The BMX,
Swing set in the car.
yeah, it's another amenity, another feature in the park.
Be just like the similar to the skate park
Yeah.
right next to it.
And it ties in well there.
Yeah, and liability, will the city be responsible for liability?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This shows where it's gonna be, right?
Yes, to the
Andy,
west,
it's
to the
correct.
left of the skate park there.
Veterans Park.
okay.
Excellent location. Everyone will see that from the
From the
Vietnam
bypass. Yeah,
vets,
yeah,
especially exiting onto Indian Lake.
correct, yeah.
How long do you expect for the construction to be?
We've been told on average about 2 weeks, so it goes pretty quick. They lay a base of stone and they shape it and form all the corners and rollers and jumps. And then from there, they lay asphalt on top of that. They paint stripes on the corners to kind of give it a finishing touch, make it look nice and professional. There's some starting pads. It's like a big wide open platform there. You can sit and wait until it's your turn and you go. But yeah, you can see that in some of the pictures there. We have one design back already that includes a separate track for kids off to the side. Since they're going to be at slower speeds, it kind of is a safety consideration. And then in the blue is where the straightaways and turns would go. Any black parts are where the berms would stack up together. And then if there's funds available, we would add a jump line onto the far end of it.
The back green, and we go back to the slots.
Yeah, go
We
back
have to
down.
do it in phases. If we have to go back one more,
Up one slide.
and we have to do it in phases, we'll leave the green one out.
So
We start with the first two.
where is the track that the chairman Skidmore and I can ride on? I don't see
It's at Hendersonville High School, around
Around
the football field.
You got a quarter mile, you can anticipate the turns.
So do you anticipate,
I want to see Mayor Ferry on it personally.
so
That's at the elementary school.
That's right.
do you anticipate the city having any financial obligation in the building of this, Andy?
No, sir. We've not
Okay.
been asked for that.
Okay, excellent. I'm ready.
Okay, so after 5 years, it's ours. I mean, in terms of,
I mean, it's ours from the get-go, so,
in terms of everything.
the Rotaries has said that they'll come back within 5 years and reseal it.
Okay.
But
Thank y'all.
it's gonna be ours the day it opens.
Great. Excited.
Thank you.
Well,
That's
I'm
encouraging.
excited about it. Any other questions?
No, I thrilled to death that the Rotary has stepped up.
Yeah, my rotary dues are going up, I'm
We,
sure.
Well,
really-
Oliver told me, he says, all you need to raise is 249,900. We've got one.
Then we're clear.
Told me that yesterday.
Okay.
So we will be seeking most of our, we immediately, within what, a month, we got 700 signatures. And then our new bike trails, Hendersonville Facebook page, got 120 in a week now.
Good.
So
Yeah.
we think the support will be there. I spoke with a lady from the South Center today. She's agreed to help me with the fundraising campaign. Wendy Navarro has agreed to help with the fundraising campaign. We're exploring our grant opportunities. There's various grants available, and Andy's been great to work with. Mayor Jamie's been great to work with. But it'll get done. It's just, we don't know how exactly just yet, but
Great,
I'm excited about it.
Great vision.
And thank you.
great vision.
My only complaint is this wasn't done 10 years ago.
We try.
My kids are too big.
At that
now,
age.
but
And I'm still riding them.
All right. Maybe, okay. Any other discussion on the resolution of the pump track? Okay, everyone ready to vote? All in favor of the resolution 2022-41 is a resolution authorizing the Rotary Club, Hendersonville Rotary Club to construct a bicycle pump track in Veterans Park, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. And I would say congratulations for us.
Very
much
nice.
so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a very exciting thing.
It is, really.
Mr. Chairman, the next item is, can be removed as there is a shortage of Christmas trees. Apparently.
Oh, no.
The Grinch,
There will be no Christmas tree lot this year.
the Grinch.
The bacon shortage is bad.
Yeah. Apparently that-
Okay.
They're on back order right
Yeah, there's multiple tree lots that aren't gonna be happening in Hendersonville and Gallatin.
That's really.
Well, you know, a lot of those trees, and I don't want to get on to it because we've got such a long agenda, but you know, a lot of those trees like that have been died because of some kind of
COVID.
no. No. Yeah, that is true. Should have done that. That there's a disease with those evergreens like that, you know. So maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know, but I'm sorry to hear that. So let's move on. Unfortunately, we don't have time to grieve. We can grieve that at our own pace. Resolution, we're on to resolution 2243, a resolution to approve the requirement to provide quarterly reports of discipline issues to the Parks Department facility use agreement. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion, proper second discussion, and
This is an addition to our athletic handbook. The groups provide quarterly financial reports. The athletic committee of the Parks Board and then the Parks Board made a recommendation that the groups provide quarterly discipline reports as well. We get the discipline reports when things happen. This is just kind of an attempt to get it all in a way per sport to see if we can identify certain particular problems and certain issues as they happen. We think we're actually, this may show that we're in a lot better shape than sometimes we think we are. Is when sometimes when one major thing happens, we think that's just every night, and we got thousands of people playing in the park, and we may see that we're in pretty good shape. It may help us identify problem areas too.
okay. Any discussion on this at all? Mayor, you have anything? Okay, all right. We'll go on. All in favor of resolution 2243 is a resolution to approve the requirement to provide a quarterly report to discipline issues to the Parks Department facility use agreement. Signify by saying aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Now on to.
Thank you for being proactive on this.
Yes, sir.
It's a liability, I know.
Has to be done.
All right. Item, resolution 2244, a resolution authorizing the city to participate in matching grant program to protect and conserve city assets. I need a motion.
Moved.
Second.
All right, there's been a proper motion in the second discussion. And
How many cameras can we get for $4,000?
Well, we have to match it, don't we?
Well, we've got in the budget already approved a special project account for 15,000 to add cameras all throughout the parks. And what we've basically found is per location where we really want to get good coverage, it's been around 4,000 to 5,000 per location. Just like if we wanted to cover one quad of fields, that would be maybe 6 or 7 cameras, or we want to cover our maintenance shop, another 5 or 6. To get all the hardware and everything wired, it's been between 4,000 and 5,000. So this grant will help us identify maybe one extra location that's not already covered, because we have several that are not covered. We've done a great job getting them, but we still have a ways to go.
But these aren't license plate readers. They're
No,
just
these are just
cameras,
basic security cameras.
security cameras.
Correct.
So if there's any kind of damage to the fields, you can go back and look to see. who
We've
did it.
we've been able to use them for that, for
So
car
is,
thefts, restroom vandalisms. They've been a big help.
so is the matching 4,000 that we're going to match, that's already in the budget, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So are these cameras monitored live, or do we just go back and watch the tape?
I can pull it up on my phone right now, the ones we have, and look at them live, or if something happens overnight, we can go back and help find the culprit.
Good to know.
how far do they go back? 48,
No, we go back
48
a week or two if we need to.
weeks, okay. All right. Mayor, you have any? Okay. Jesse, you've been awful quiet back there. I'm not holding you back or anything on any of these so far.
No, sir, I know you have a long agenda.
Oh, that's okay. We're moving right along. Don't worry about that. Your opinion's important. So anytime, just say the word. All right, any further discussion on the resolution 2244? Hearing none, is everyone ready to vote? All in favor of resolution 2244, which is a resolution authorizing the city to participate. But you can't say that 3 times real quick. in a matching grant program to protect and conserve the city assets, signify saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Resolution, next is resolution 2245 is a resolution authorizing Kristen Wagle Photography to use the house at Heritage Park for pictures with Santa.
So moved.
Second.
There's been proper motion, second discussion. No discussion on Santa?
Ms. Weigels here if you want to hear from her.
We'd like to hear from you. What, so when does it start?
It's every weekend in the month of November. This is our 13th year. So we plan on giving $1,000 back to Magical Mary's Magical Place, because the whole reason that I started doing Santa photos, my oldest has Asperger's, and waiting in the mall was not an option. So we cater to special needs families as well as just typical Santa families. But we have every year we do about 500 families in the Hendersonville area. And we make that work through the month of November. So we're busy.
I'm glad that since we don't have Christmas trees, I'm glad Santa Claus. is-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still here. The Parks Board approved this last night unanimously.
You okay? That's pretty good.
Is there enough parking at the house?
There is, she only, well, I don't want to speak, but you can speak to it. It's the way she has it staggered out, 5 clients at a time. It'll be
They
plenty.
sign up before through Eventbrite, and it's 5 families every half hour. So there won't be more than 5
Okay.
families at a time.
Perfect. I'm glad we're getting some use out of the house.
And we will have somebody come in and clean before and then after as well. So we'll be probably in better shape than we come in.
All right. I'm glad to hear it, actually. Old Santa, I hope he's good to me this year. Man. I'm married, everything. I don't. All right. Anybody else? Jesse, how about you? That's Santa. Throwing some good words for you, for your family. All right, everybody ready to vote? All in favor of resolution 2245, not to mean, Jesse, that they're bad eggs, okay? Any sticks or stones on, was it coal? I forget. All in favor of resolution 2022-45 is a resolution authorizing. I was getting ready to say Kristen, but I gotta be professional about this. Kristen Wagle Photography in the House of the Heritage for the pictures of Santa, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, it passes unanimously. All right, thank you again for your service to helping us in Hendersonville with such a thing. Okay, we finished most of the agenda, and it's only we've gotten that a big items coming.
Are you through with the agenda? Are you through? Y'all can leave. if you need to.
Anytime you guys want to leave.
See you, Dave.
I got the
Thank
work
you.
good, but I'm waiting for the next-
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you all very much.
I'm not with them, I'm staying.
I thought you was.
That's pretty much I was.
Y'all need to bring up.
Thank you, guys.
Tell me everybody if you feel this, about that, hey.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Yes, sir. Take care. All right. All right. Well, now we're under other agenda items. Let's go ahead. Okay, this will probably take another hour. Actually. Not just the trash collection, but everything else I'm looking down here.
So should we prioritize? I don't know who these gentlemen are here for.
So
Do we need to prioritize?
I think it would be helpful if you hit the Bradford Berry House item and then Bradford Berry House and then. Let's see, thank you. All right, yeah, you hit those two
Okay.
items next, that'd be helpful.
Okay, we're gonna, if there's no objection, we're gonna just
Yes.
switch the order of agenda items, and we're gonna go with item Q, the Bradford Berry House. Mayor.
Sure. So we discussed it at capital projects, or do we discuss it at the board? Bradford Berry House, it's been a month or so, capital projects. And what they decided was for me to come to the Public Works Committee and and discuss with y'all the progress.
Mhm.
So we've had, 3 different groups look at the property. I probably had another 4 or 5 phone calls about the property. I think Channel 17 had some information about it. It was in the newspaper as well. Jimmy Rollins is a local guy who lives here in Hendersonville. This is his brother whose name I do not remember because I don't know him as well. Thank you. That's really hard to remember and I managed to forget it.
Yeah.
So Jimmy owns several properties in Hendersonville. His brother is a contractor, has been working around Middle Tennessee for a long time. They have provided us a proposal. We have a second proposal as well from another group. And then we have another group that has told us they are going to give us a proposal. But I told Jimmy that the next time it's going to be discussed was here. He's been through it, his brother's been through it. They looked at it. They certainly feel like it has a lot of potential and they were very excited about it. And so I said, well, come to Public Works Committee, and if they have any questions that you might want to ask you. I also still look for some guidance on what the next steps are. I don't think we can leave it out there forever.
True.
But at the same time, I think we need to give anybody who's interested in making a proposal an opportunity to do that. We might find something better than what we have right now.
Right.
And I think it's our job to make sure we get the best we can for the city.
Very well.
Okay.
All right, well, it's good to see you both and appreciate your concern over the house. It is one of our last really vestiges of historical pieces in Hendersonville. So the floor is obviously open for this.
So
Jim, you don't want to come up here? Why don't you do that?
So my question, Mayor, is what's the process? What do you anticipate the process to be? Are you going to put together an ad hoc committee made up of staff? Or, I don't know. What's your idea of process? If we have 3 proposals, what's your idea on the selection and recommendation to this committee?
Okay. So right now, the process that I thought that I would go forward with is we'll give it another 3-4 weeks to get any other proposals. I think it's been out there long enough that anybody who's serious would have contacted us by now.
Sure.
There's this group that says they're gonna get me something. They've sort of been stringing along a little bit. However, the situation has changed, and y'all don't even know this either, that the amount of property that goes with the house now is likely to be increased. The site plan is gonna go to the planning commission to be revised. So there will be actually more property with it now. Does that change most proposals? Probably not, because it's the house that
Right.
we're mostly concerned about. So what I thought I would do was give it probably another 3 or 4 weeks. We'll put a deadline, make sure that we state it publicly, and I'll let anybody know who's contacted me. This is your deadline to get us something. Then I'll come back here and I'll say, this is the 3 or 4 or 5 proposals we have. And then we can go from there. I probably won't make a recommendation to you, because I don't really have any criteria that I've given anybody of what it is we're looking for, other than we're not spending money on it. We will offer you $100,000 toward the project, which is coming to us. We expect you to restore it. We expect you to maintain it. We expect you to live within the zoning, with the zoning opportunities that are there. That's sort of the criteria. And if somebody turns in something that doesn't fit with that,
It'd be hard to even get through us. I can tell you right now.
yeah. So at your next meeting, I will probably bring you those proposals. And if y'all look at them and say, we need somebody else to look at them, I'm completely fine with that. If y'all tell me right now, these are the criteria to look for, I'm fine with that. I want to make sure this is a very open process. That is the biggest concern that I have.
So would it be beneficial to have our planning department evaluate, maybe not
Okay.
rank them
Okay.
or select, but do an evaluation and a summary so that we just don't have the proposals. I just would like some staff analysis of the proposals and not just bring in 2 or 3 proposals and us, I'd like to have the staff do something so it
Get the professionals involved.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
I think that's fine. I'll tell you, their proposal it's simple, but it gives all the information you need that you need.
Well, can you briefly tell us a little bit about the proposal that you've got?
Yeah, copies of it, and
Thank you.
it's very simple. We're committing to do the project. We're not gonna be asking for the $100,000 up front. We expect to complete the outside of the project before we use that money. We have plenty, we can offer bank um, finance proof of funds and, what, the house really is gonna need to be done, it can't be put off forever because it's deteriorating and
Right.
we monitor it and looked at it and talked about it, but, what our proposal is based on is the fact we're promising to do it. We're not saying that we're gonna get vendor bids and say, we are saying we're gonna do it. So, it can be put in writing that, that we're gonna complete the project and at whatever cost.
What do you intend to do with the property?
Well, I assume it's gonna have commercial zoning and I assume that whatever use would have to be, actually, we would have to come back to ask,
Sure.
We can't just simply decide, start building and decide to build something and then come back and say, hey, this is what we built it for. We would certainly, follow. Honestly, our first thought is office space. It's the simplest thing. It has the lowest impact where there could be a restaurant that might want to, but I don't think so. I think there's plenty of restaurants and we don't have experience in owning restaurant property. We do have experience in office and the rates and such.
Jimmy, excuse me, and experience in historic homes.
Yes, yeah, I lived in historic Germantown and I had a townhouse that I restored and I had four other buildings, 3 of them were cottages, one was a duplex, and I went through the historic registry to get the tax credits. So we would obviously, the first thing we would do would be to get the Tennessee Historic Commission out there because without going through them, we're not going to get tax credits and build it out to their guidelines, which, they're really picky about how you maintain the windows. If you can save them at all, if not, try to repair them. This is fairly complicated, but that's what you have to do to get through that process. And I understand now the city has made it, but having it Tennessee designated through the Tennessee Historic, which is not now, that would give additional preservation protections.
There's a graveyard
Yeah,
property.
well, the last drawing I saw, it was not on the property. Maybe that's part of what he's.
That's part of the change.
Yeah,
It is. But all the property between the house and the graveyard will go with this.
and quite honestly, we thought about that. There's some other groups that might want to visit the graveyard and stuff, and so that would be a great opportunity for us to build some parking spots designated for that purpose.
So what is and I honestly don't know, Mayor. I know I'm very familiar with the house, obviously, but what is the designation of the cemetery?
We just have to preserve it, make sure this is available for anybody to visit.
So that's why they're separating. Is that what the planning commission's gonna be doing?
So right now, it's
Separated.
two separate pieces. It's separated.
Okay.
It's the house with the little bit of property and the cemetery. What the planning commission is being asked to consider is that would all be one lot,
Okay.
which
That's
means
what
that the
I'm-
land in between there also goes with the house.
House. Okay.
Current state of the building right now is it's structurally a pretty good building. But it's got roof openings on it right now. And it's, ever since the day it's been abandoned, it's going downhill fast. It's absorbing moisture, mold and everything else. And it is not something that needs to sit there, because when you use a building, you make it a profitable business, you maintain it. When you abandon it, it's amazing how fast they can collapse. But this building is a wonderful building, but it's time sensitive. It's got water coming in it right now. It has
We
been. has been
Park
for a
it
while.
right now. Because we're getting ready to go into rainy season.
It was tarred for a little
Yeah.
while. Do you know last time anybody's been over there?
So I volunteer that if you'd let me. my company, my construction company would come temporarily tarp it in, I'd love to do that because it matters to me too, you know.
We will probably take you up on that.
I'd be glad to
Okay,
get temporary dried in, but we need to stop the water.
okay.
What rain season is it? It does affect the rest of the house for the water to come in one section.
Oh, yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, do you think when we take action on this, that we might need to have a workshop? Because it might take more than an hour to do that, but just a suggestion, think about. And Mayor, is it
Okay.
2 or 3 weeks? Can we be ready to present the proposals to this committee in 2 weeks? Is there any
Well,
kind of notice requirement?
My only suggestion, I mean, this is just my thought
Okay.
in looking at it, and Mary, and if you feel differently, I mean, once you let me know, please feel free. Is we want to allow, and no offense to the Rollins here, family. We should allow enough time, you know, even though we have, and there hasn't been any takers, that we should allow enough time to where we can come back and say, hey, we had it for a while and no one said anything. And these gentlemen step forward just to see what, you know, to see what's out there.
Yeah. I think what's safe is probably wait to your next meeting. This is why, is because the planning commission meets next Tuesday. Okay, meets next Tuesday or Tuesday. Okay, so, and then they'll decide on what the site plan is. I think we really need to give 2 weeks and just can put together an RFP with a deadline of 2 weeks. So anybody who's suggested any whiff of interest, and then we'll give them.
Okay,
And then we'll have it on our agenda, the next public works meeting, I guess.
And we'll ask planning between that deadline and your meeting to give us some sort of evaluation of all the.
Okay, that sounds good. All right.
Here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want me to move faster than y'all want to move. And that's why I'm being very cautious and being very upfront,
but I understand the problem with the abandoned building and deterioration.
It's amazing.
I've heard that the studs in that building are made out of black walnut. Have you noticed that?
It's got, I know a lot about buildings. I've been fixing them my whole life.
Yeah.
I've been in the construction business for 45 years and I've rehabbed a lot of structures. And I own a couple of historical pieces of property in Portland right now too. But I've been in construction business my entire life. But yeah, that house, I've watched houses and that house was in really good shape back when the arts had it. You know, it wasn't, you know, it's just amazing. At 8 years, you turn the electric off, you take everything like moisture, humidity, you'll get humidity rot that doesn't look like something's rotten till you take a pick and poke on. The humidity will absolutely destroy every piece of wood in that structure. Brick stand, but the brick's nothing if you don't save the rest of the structure. But it's got a lot of water going in it right now. It has been for a couple of years now. It's getting in shape where it needs. Like I said, I'd gladly, given permission, whatever, I'd be glad to take my crew down. I'm licensed, insured, and everybody, you know. So I know what to do, but I'd be glad to go take some plywood, take some stuff to get it where it literally would stop coming in it. You know, there's a severe area right now, you know, as large as that window. That I could, not gonna make it pretty, but I can get some plywood on it. Get the rain, keep coming out, and I'd be glad to do that, you know, regardless of the outcome of what y'all choose to do with it.
All right.
one of the things we are going to do in that process of a new site plan is we're going to put a specific date that we take possession of the house. Right now, the date was when I think the first building permit is pulled for the front piece of property. Yeah, that's probably going to be in a couple months, but we want, if in the event it's a couple years, we want to make sure that we get possession of the house sooner instead of later. So we're gonna ask that the property owner deed that house to us 60 days after, within 60 days after the planning commission passes it. The $100,000, we'll wait for a long time, and we'll wait until they actually start building another piece of property. But it helps us get possession of the house sooner and start taking care of it sooner.
Yeah, to save it.
Yeah.
Be important. So we'll put it back on our agenda on October,
Okay,
October's agenda.
good,
Uh,
good.
Be close to Halloween.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming and we'll look forward.
Don't need it.
To see, yeah, we'll keep these. And what we'll do is this, we'll place it in the record
Sure.
and then,
Does everybody else have copy.
Okay, okay.
Okay, on mail. Okay.
No, make the park out of it. Okay, so now I'm gonna.
All right.
I can be glad if I can.
Thanks, guys.
Hopefully read it to somebody. That was paper.
Thanks for moving that up.
Sure, yeah,
Nice to
sure.
meet you guys.
Thank you, guys. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Now, that's funny.
A house we don't own.
Good to see you. You take care. Okay.
That's a good question.
We've done everything else to it.
All right, our next is for a request for a proposal for the athletic facility department. We should have put that in the record. Go ahead, Andy. Sorry.
This may be a combination of several of us. As you all are aware, we have several pieces of park property that are undeveloped. We've had multiple opportunities, discussions from time to time over the past few years, people coming to us for various parks, wanting to build this, do this, you know. This is different than what we're kind of talking about here is different than what we just voted on with the bike pump track, where the Rotary clubs want to come in and help raise funds through the community. That's more like Mary's magical place. Here's the funds, we're going to do this, and then it's yours. What we're talking about here are facilities that other people outside of our staff may run or operate that could be built, large projects. I don't think we want to be too specific at this point because we have multiple things that could be proposed. And I'm not the one to write an RFP necessarily, but we thought the most transparent, open way, very similar to what you all just saw. The most open, transparent way would be to put an RFP out.
Right.
And if a group or a person or somebody has an idea they want to propose, let's see it and let's see if that's best for the city and for that piece of property and for our parks. You want to add, subtract from that, or?
I think it's just the way that the city gets the highest and the best use of the property. Very transparent one too, so it could be used for a multitude of Bradford Berry is a great example. Any facilities we have, we can do the same thing. And we can kind of let the market,
Dictate what it is.
that's right.
I don't know that this is something that requires a vote. I mean, we put out RFPs as a staff for different things all the time. But just if you all have input or suggestions or think it's a horrible idea, a great idea, I think it's something we would want to put out as a staff to see what comes back and then bring that forward through the committee process and maybe capital projects if it deems necessary, and BOMA for sure.
Well, any questions? And then I've got a question couple.
Well, I support this approach because of the transparency. Because I think we can make sure that the city gets the best proposal. So I'm a firm believer in the marketplace, and so I like it. I've had 2 people contact me. I don't know why. Well, because I'm neighbors to both of them, but have contacted me interested in building a facility for soccer. That's 2 people. I've had 2 different entities. So I think this is the best approach. And with the staff, we'll get this RFP and get the proposals. And then I assume you'll bring back to this committee on capital projects, if that be necessary, what the proposals are, and then we can have a good discussion and move forward. I think it's the best way to get something on paper that we can move forward with the proper amount of planning and transparency. So I support this method.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think a vote is necessary. I certainly welcome all proposals. I think it's past needed for the city. I've been to other towns for tournaments, and there's no reason that Hendersonville can't compete on a major level with a large facility. So I'm certainly anxious to see what can be submitted.
Yeah, okay, thank you both for that. I would say this is probably the most proper, I agree with the committee, this is the most proper approach. One, I think that once you, first of all, where are the areas that are in question that you're looking at?
I mean, just in my time here, we've had people come to us about volunteer park, about things in Drake's Creek Park. We've had people come to us about the senior center property. We've had multiple people come to us.
Well, I know, and when I say this, don't think that I'm saying it because I think you're being, I think of you uneducated or something like this, but the process is the most important as far as a chairman should be. Not my political opinion, but I think you should go, which I know you probably already previous said, go through the Parks Board. Whatever time, but as long as they know what's going on, I think that would be a very a thing that you should do. And come back to this committee before and with the price down, it probably will go, we will refer it to capital projects, but it begins here first in this committee. And you could kind of let us know what has come about, and then we'll refer it to Eddie's committee once we get through with it. How do you feel about that? You think that's
I
probably
think the
too?
process we've done with everything else.
Okay.
The bike pump track we talked about earlier went to the Parks Board.
Okay.
Then
Jesse,
I
you feel
don't,
that way
and
too?
like anything else, even if they voted no, and they didn't like something, you all as BOMA have
That's
the
exactly
final
right.
say.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think it's important to hear their recommendation.
Sure it is. And, it doesn't bind us as a board of aldermen. We're going to do what we think is right.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be a horse's rear end about it, but that's the way it
No, I
operates. Jesse, do you have any feelings one way or the other on this?
Yeah, I think we can wrap up and summarize proposals and present them to you and give you briefings on them, and probably gonna want to take them to finance committee too. because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Sure, they're all involved.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Which it should be, so that it's spending money.
I know any proposals that I'm gonna be favorable to is proposals that minimize the city's responsibility in funding. Because we just don't have, we've got other priorities that we've got to take care of. So I just, for those that are listening, I'm gonna be looking at proposals that mitigate city financial responsibility.
Okay, thank you. Any other further discussion on the athletic facility development? Hearing none. All right, that'll be good.
Thanks, Andy.
So now we've got those two special things out of the way. Do you want to go back to the original agenda, or can we just, or do you want to just hide around and say next is the, because like here, go ahead.
Excuse me.
No,
Well, Mr. Mark was going with the here with.
okay, we're gonna go with trash collection update.
Yeah.
You know, come up here.
Would you like to, am I invited? Thank you. Athletic fields and that sort of thing, that's more exciting than trash.
Mr. Chairman, I asked Mrs. Locke to have someone here from the company because in my neighborhood, Autumn Creek, I think for about the last 3 weeks, there have been misses on the day that was normally designed.
Is it Wednesday?
Yes. And they pick up part of the neighborhood and then they leave. So the last 3 weeks, they've missed the due date in Autumn Creek. And I promised my HOA and the members that I would bring this matter up. So I appreciate you being here. Maybe you can shed light on why that, and maybe that's going on in other places. I don't know.
No, it's fortunately and unfortunately, fortunately, it's not. Unfortunately, it's been in your area. And that's the same area where Durham Farms here is. And there's a tremendous amount of growth, in that area compared to some of the other areas. And so Wednesday's our largest pickup, but so tomorrow is Wednesday. And 3 weeks ago, tomorrow was when we had one of our trucks, and it was a spare at the time, breakdown. And so we weren't able to complete that area. I believe Kim reached out to you. It was picked up within the first couple hours of the next day, that Thursday. I didn't have any reports of 2 weeks ago having any issues, and then a week ago, Wednesday, it was the second day of being 100 degrees, heat index of 105, and we had a crew breakdown physically, and I made a decision to get them off the road. Once again, I know there was a little confusion on the communication of, we were like, what does this mean? Like, but it was physically, we had a crew, and we had 3 people on that truck. And then I think by 9 o'clock, 9:30, the next morning, we had that picked up. So those, I don't know anything from 2 weeks ago, but I know from 3 weeks ago, and then from last week, those were the sort of the challenges we were having in that regards. We have new trucks that have come in for some spares, so I feel good about that. So I'm encouraged about that. We've had really good success over the last couple months with hiring and training. So I'm pleased with that. The Wednesday, one of the things we're looking at is really needing to do some rerouting. And that's going to be on us. And then coming to you guys and say, hey, this is how it's probably going to need to work. And there could be day changes because of the amount of growth, specifically on that Wednesday route. For example, Thursday, our guys work half the amount of time they do on Wednesday, and it
Might need to rebalance your schedule.
100%. That's why. So rerouting on our end, but then coming back to you guys and saying, here's what we would need to do. This particular section or streets would have to be moved from Wednesday to Thursday. And I'm just giving an example. And then the communication to those individuals and that sort of thing. We're there to be able to do that. And we are off balance on the days, where our trucks are coming in. Tuesday and Wednesdays are our biggest routes. Thursday is our shortest route, if you will.
Sarah, I've had a number of residents in Autumn Creek say that they report to the city misses every week, for the last 3 weeks, and it's not showing up on this report.
Can you put the graph?
So I don't understand. I don't understand how accurate that graph is.
This graph is based on the amount of misses that our staff logs in to track. He's based on reported misses
Reported by whom?
by residents.
Citizens.
So our staff puts this in.
That email refuge.com or whatever,
Yes, sir.
when they come in on that.
Yes, sir. Or the phone calls, either one. They both get logged into that tracking system. And then we extract the data with the graph.
I'm hoping they can put the graph up because I'd like everyone to see it. Looks like misses have dropped for the last 2 weeks,
Yes.
and that's certainly encouraging.
Just to say, David, if you're watching us, could you put the graph of what is it called?
It's the reported trash collection,
It's the trash collection,
page 89.
page 89. Is it possible that you could do that?
Just a job with what people are telling me they're reporting, all these reports, and on the 19th.
Yeah.
3.
Sorry. Unfortunately, I don't have that.
I don't understand.
Okay, thank you, buddy.
No problem.
Well, I have mine. I think there's a way to put them on it. Maybe.
Okay, it's not that one, it's David.
This isn't close of business on the ninth.
No.
I don't know what he's doing.
That's,
No,
they
it's okay.
generate this early, because we do our agenda a week ahead of time. And so they would have pulled those numbers for the 19th early on that day. So if they had called in on the 19th,
PM, it wouldn't be registered.
that's right.
Well, that's. So
I tried to
I
stop.
expect the 20th is gonna be
Okay.
back up here.
I think
Yeah,
David's
it's
working on
possible.
it.
Yeah,
I get
Just
it.
depending.
And
I
just
tried
to
to stop.
Timing issue, it's a timing issue.
And just to give you sort of an update, with the added labor force and we're beefing up, we're taking over some contracts for the city of Nashville. With the encouraging interviews and training, we are shifting more and more from a day rate, which we sort of inherited and put in play with Hendersonville, and it's created some challenges with us, but we are moving more and more towards an hourly labor force, which we have in all of our other lines of businesses. The benefit, they want hours and they'll stay out and pick up potential misses and that sort of thing. So I feel confident the quality of service within that day will improve. I have guys coming in that our day rates are coming in at 11:30 in the afternoon, and I can't form a team and that sort of thing. So that's helpful. I have a new route supervisor that's in Atlanta this week doing our driver training course. He comes with a lot of experience with the Metropolitan Transit Authority.
So explain to me how part of a subdivision will get picked up and half of it
Well,
on the day of pickup.
Well, for example, when the truck broke down on that Wednesday in that Autumn Creek area, Durham Farms, wherever it was, all of our trucks almost have day rate people, they go home. With our other lines of businesses like ASL, which is the automatic side load, and other areas within and around Nashville, they work as a team. As is your route done? It's running a little heavy today. We'll come help you, that sort of thing. And that's what we're trying to create in Hendersonville. Because of the day rate, it created all for one, one for all. I'm done. I'm going in. And it was set up poorly where the route was set up here. The day rate was set here where it needs to be even. We're 70%. 60%, 65% have shifted almost all of our guys, and they're new relatively to the hourly rate. Some of the existing ones we've switched over. Some of the ones are fighting and that sort of thing. And I would say by the end of October, we're going to be all hourly throughout the whole company, but within Hendersonville. And it will create a situation when we do have a truck breakdown or crews are running heavier, an area is running heavier. It's the supervisor can manage and be able to say, once you're finished, head over to Autumn Creek, and at the same time, eventually do some rerouting and some potential day changes. And it will be an even situation where every day we're finishing, unless there's something weather related, something different. We're all coming in at all the same time.
Are we gonna be able to pick up all of Autumn Creek tomorrow on the regular schedule?
Yes,
day?
sir. I will ensure,
Okay,
I will ensure that gets done. I can tell you that, well, it's beautiful weather out. With the additional trucks that we've come in that are 4 different parts that aren't starting until November. I have the drivers and I have the equipment where if there is an issue, it will be collected. So you should not see any streets left on the ground, if you will, due to a truck issue. We're away from the heat, hopefully, for the most part. That was sort of the thing, but I know it's Kimberly, our dispatcher, customer service representative. She's aware of it. She's relatively new. She's 5 months into her role, but she has been and Sarah, I don't know how much you communicate with her, but her communication and ability to communicate with the drivers is extremely strong and is creating more of that teamwork within Hendersonville. She's becoming more and more familiar with the streets and the routes and who does what and what needs, and understands that this day is a little bit heavier for this particular truck. I eventually would love for her to come out and meet with the staff and with you and Jesse and just introduce it. She's been a nice little addition for us, which you should see benefit. She handles the trackies for Mrs. She's getting with the driver first thing, saying, hey, this was missed. And then the driver will communicate to her saying, it was a 96 gallon, back door, or wasn't bagged, or whatever the issue might have been. But like I said, I know you're concerned is that Autumn Creek area in the last several weeks, and tomorrow being Wednesday, I have a note on my calendar to be out here myself towards the afternoon and making sure things are done.
Thank you.
We can certainly understand the challenges with workforce and appreciate you working through that. Now, you have additional trucks and labor workforce. Are they local, or where is all your equipment?
All of our equipment's local.
Is that here in Hendersonville?
It's in Nashville, South Nashville. We're off of Polk Avenue,
Okay,
in between Murfreesboro.
so I guess your workforce is Nashville as well?
Almost entirely. There's been, not for Hendersonville, but we do have a driver who's also a trainer from Florida. We're based out of Florida, that we brought in for from another division to train our new employees and help support our people. So, but all of the consistent day in, day out laborers, mechanics, helpers are all Nashville.
Okay, so you're hiring additional workers to take on the new workload from Nashville, but this won't impact Hendersonville at all, correct?
Correct. For example, and I don't want to say I'm fully staffed, because I'm never going to say that, but we're fully staffed if we wanted to start additional routes for the city of Nashville. It was delayed because of the equipment. Now we're getting the equipment in. And that particular route supervisor that is in Atlanta will be back next week. I just mentioned he has a great deal of experience with the Metropolitan Transit Authority and has some skill sets that I'm excited about, that he's going to help support all of us, in the division. And when we reroute, it will be beneficial, because when you do reroute, it's about the communication and the execution, making sure that gets done, because it is a change. Everybody's used to Wednesday. They might have to move to Tuesday or Thursday and that sort of thing, but we have time to do that a little bit to make sure it goes correctly.
Well, this does affect everybody in town, so it's a priority that trash is picked up on a regular basis, and we appreciate you staying on top of it.
Yeah, no, it's a challenge. I don't want to jinx myself, but it's been encouraging over the last couple months as far as what we've seen. And it's been not just, I would love to have a garbage man that's been experienced, but we're picking up a great deal of experienced truck drivers, either over the road or dump truck drivers, that we're training, because we have a lot of different moving parts, and it's different, but they're solid, good employees, workers, truck drivers, safe, that we've seen more so in the past few years. And I don't know if that's economy driven. I know with a lot of dump truck drivers, the weather plays a big role with them. When it rains and they can't go dump cement and that sort of thing. I tell them in an interview, the greatest thing about the trash and recycling business, there's consistent work each and every day. One of the worst things about the trash and recycling business is there's work consistently each and every day, but that's what they're looking for. And Hendersonville has possessed this different mindset with the backdoor service. We were having a hard time attracting people, because when we first came into Nashville, it was Hendersonville, and the reputation was, oh, you pick up Hendersonville. And so we weren't getting people to come in and just talk to us. Now we're getting more and more people, I think more and more people are putting it at the curb. You know, I've been out here a few times. But it is a different workforce, if you will, as far as that type of service, but we're attracting more and more people. So it's, and we need to train them. We train them right. And I can tell you the day rate, you know, whether you talk to our mechanics, whether you talk to Kimberly, our dispatcher, they see the difference from an hourly employee. I'm out here, I'm finished. How can I help? And they're going to get paid. Where if they're completed and they've done their job, we just didn't put the expectation with the route high enough. They leave and they don't. So at the end of the day, we're all happy, but at the end of the day, your quality of service, that Wednesday when the truck broke down, we would have had somebody out there saying, okay, not a problem. So that's been encouraging for me.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You're welcome.
Anything else?
No.
The only thing I do want to say is it's unfortunate. One person is, which I'm surprised that she's not here tonight, but I do want to go on record as this committee, letting you know that it was called a concern about this. Now, it has been about a month ago. We did not meet at our last Public Works Committee. So we put you on the agenda for tonight that's a normal thing.
Right.
If we miss one, we very seldom ever do that. But she is not here and she had sent me some pictures, but I'm gonna alert her if she comes tonight at the Board of Aldermen. I'll let her know that we discussed about it. Let me get to it.
Who are you referring to?
Alderwoman Petrelli.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Lori. I thought you were talking about one of our
No,
employees.
no.
Because I know Lori.
Yeah, no, I know that if I had requested her to be here, she would.
Is she the vice mayor? Would that be?
Yeah.
And I met with her. I knew there was a situation there. I went and visited her unannounced, just to check it out. She was doing work in her yard and I introduced myself and eventually she did not want to speak with me.
Okay.
And then finally, after a few conversations, she then invited me down to show me where containers were. And I know we haven't had an issue since then.
Okay.
There was a laborer that did not pick up, missed her particular street or how her containers.
Okay.
But we ended up having a nice talk. I came and so I don't know if you were here. I saw Jesse. It was I like I said, I wanted to check out why we were missing it. She happened to be in the driveway. She wasn't happy to see me when I first arrived, but after just explaining who I was, we ended up having I thought a productive, good conversation, and we have not had an issue, and that's been probably 6 weeks.
Okay, good. So there hasn't been any further discussion about that?
And the driver, I know when it was missed one time, we took our truck down the driveway, and that was not acceptable.
Probably.
And it's a hot note on the route. I've talked to the particular driver and the helper. There's a house right next door where the helper goes and gets that back door and cuts across the yard. And I think what happened was he didn't have enough room in his container and he only dumped 50% of the
half
you know,
of the load.
right.
Right, okay.
But I would say it's been about 6 weeks since I talked to her, and she's the one that said, I want you there at the Public Works meeting.
Yeah, she had alerted. to
And
me.
she had called our corporate offices and the owners
Sure.
gave me a call. That's prompted me to go to the
She
house.
might have settled down by now, and I mean no disrespect.
100%,
to
I
Peg,
understand.
but she's a very fine alderwoman. She's represented Ward 1 well, and so when she called me about it, I in turn, I think I spoke to you about it, and we tried to hopefully, get it rectified. She has not spoken to me, and at the last meeting, she was not here, and I didn't get to, but.
And I gave her my business card and I said, if you ever have it's got my cell phone on there, email to give me a call. It was just a little surprise to I wanted to go check it out,
No,
to get
sure.
an owner phone call.
Yeah,
But she just happened to be out there and she did not want to see me at first, but then.
Well,
welcomed me
like
down.
this, for example, this is because we're on the same route. She lives across the lake.
Okay,
We're on the lake, both of us, but we're like in a cove. But this is the stuff that we've been seeing. See, it when you all leave. Now, you didn't this didn't happen this past Friday. They came in and they picked it up. That's what I'm talking about. And they,
yeah, and that's obviously not acceptable.
well, here's the thing, the only thing that I tried to, when I was speaking to Ms. Petrelli about it was. We have, and I don't know this, as a rule. We have some animals that are in the area, and sometimes they get in the trash, because we've had some coyotes that I've killed. And I've done it, I don't mind saying that I've killed them.
Are you for hire?
Well, listen, I don't like coyotes. They killed my little dog.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And that's all right. No, this has been about a year ago. And it's been, I get them with a vengeance when I see them. They have not been around. The only one that's been around is deer, and I don't think they get into the trash. The deer don't. But so that my point in all that is, I kind of suggested that maybe that was the case with some of them. So I don't know that. I'm not gonna sit up there all night and watch the but they did pick up on Friday, because we're a Friday pickup. And they came, I mean, like clockwork, because I know what time they get there. They get there real early on that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because we do have certain, with the new drivers, sometimes they decide to run the route differently. Well, thinking that the trash is supposed to be out the night before or something because of the animals. I spoke to a customer and she was like, I put it out because I know you're going to be there at 7:30.
Yes.
I don't put it, and because I don't put it out because of the animal situation. Well, our driver started the route earlier than, or in an area closer to her house.
Oh.
And so she had missed, but it was our fault, because we should, like I told the driver, I said, you can't, people are used to winning.
Well, one of the things that we've had over there too, because she and I have always had some, and it's just the way that it is. And I'll know you'll understand this, because I'm sure you see it wherever you have to work. A lot of people will put their trash out after you're gone, like in the afternoon, and you come in the morning.
It happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not so much, I don't, in
Like on
Hendersonville, but in some
Rockland Road,
other
that
areas.
happens a lot.
Right.
And, but anyway, I wanted to alert you, and I'm really sorry Peg's not here to further it, but she might be okay now. And if I see her tonight, I'll ask her about it.
Yeah, let her know, and she'll know that me,
Okay.
and like I said, our conversation ended productively, I think.
All right, any
That's
other discussion on this? Nope. All right, any about the graph? Did you want?
No, it's looking good.
Okay, that sounds good.
I just would encourage people to go on our website and report misses
Yes.
or call Public Works. I believe there's a designated line for that, and I wish I had that information to let everybody know, but we do record those and count those misses each day, each week.
No, it's a good scorecard, and measure and that sort of.
Well,
thing. I want
it
to see that
shows
utility go
you,
down.
it shows us,
Right.
where our faults are.
Right.
And how to correct them. So, but thank you for coming
No,
tonight.
appreciate it. Thanks for the
And,
time.
It's certainly nice to meet you.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder, could we jump to R so Andy could give his
Sure
report?
can. Golf
So-
course commission update.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. It's good to see you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Ready?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Update on golf.
Golf commission update from me. I think you all are aware that the arbitration case with the golf cart barn, the
Yes.
insurance has come to a close, and I think Sarah's probably working on at this point some options for the golf cart barn repairs, solutions we can look at. The biggest thing to bring to you all, and this is a matter of process, is the golf commission recommended that we take up to $35,000 from the golf reserve fund that they have to make safety improvements on hole number 7. cart path. We've had some issues with some accidents in golf carts that we think could help if we were do some rerouting of the golf cart path. They have over $400,000 currently in the golf reserve fund. And a matter of process is to notify BOMA. This is serving as that notification. Robert has approved it. They're communicating this to the finance committee in the other room as we speak.
It's very steep.
A very steep hill, and what I think could be an example of what might be happening is we have so many new people that are playing golf since
Right.
COVID. There's a lot of people that are inexperienced at driving golf carts.
Please don't name names.
No, I'm not gonna name any names unless you're one that flipped over.
No, I have, I know probably who you're talking about.
No, there, yeah. Don't name any names.
All right, well, thank you. So what are you gonna bring back an ordinance?
No, sir, there's no reason for an ordinance. They have the funds to do it. I just, the process is to notify Bowman, and it's kind of serving as your notification that they're gonna be making those upgrades.
All right.
We will probably bring something at some point when it comes to golf cart barns and irrigation filters and things like that.
All right, while we've got you here, how about pickleball?
I'm probably not the best one to update you on pickleball. That
Okay.
is, the last time we talked about that was capital projects.
Oh, okay.
We put out an RFP for a hot minute, and then it kind of took it down at that point because a local group had approached the mayor about doing some things. So I'm not 100% sure where the pickleball stands right this second.
Okay,
I know that we got the money budgeted to do it, and I know that it needs to get done sooner rather than later. But I think this RFP for athletic facility development may help serve that purpose. The mayor here,
Yeah.
he may know more than me on the pickleball process
Yeah.
at this point.
It's time to talk pickleball.
pickleball.
Okay, so I've got a couple meetings with a couple of folks that want to bring pickleball to Hendersonville. We've got some money budgeted, $400,000. Does that sound about right? Okay,
509.
in the current year's budget. What we had anticipated was that we were gonna be building in Memorial Park. There might be an opportunity to put that close to the senior center. And another group will put some money in. What I like about the senior center is that it's already got parking. It would encourage play from some of the seniors that are at the senior center. Already has restrooms. And if anybody wants to have, we talk way too much in City Hall about the cost of restrooms. So that's something I'm entertaining. I'm having a meeting on Friday with two folks about the property of the senior center. I want to move fast, but I want to do it right.
And the paving is, you've got parking
It's,
at the senior center.
It's-
Recently paved, right?
Right, I think they're doing it now. I mean, they're finishing it up.
Also, what I also like about senior center is that it puts a spotlight on that part of town. And people will drive for pickleball. They have absolutely shown that. And whereas at Memorial Park, we lose a current activity space that we have right now. I would rather not do that.
Fair enough, I agree with that.
However,
All right.
I want to move fast, but I want to move.
All righty. Let's go with, this is like hodgepodge here. Since we spoke about it, have we already spoken about the light signalization update, or is there something else? Thank you for.
Yes, thank you all. Appreciate it. Sorry to put so many items on your.
No, don't worry about that.
Thanks.
Don't worry about it at all.
The only other update that I can provide right now is we do have the pre-construction conference scheduled for October 5th. So,
Praise God.
So that's just right around the corner.
yes, sir,
Great. And that's the pre-construction conference.
that's right, yes.
Glad to see that moving forward.
Thank
That
you.
will be exciting.
October the 5th, did you say? Okay.
Good deal. Okay, detection on Indian Lake Boulevard.
Yeah, so I think maybe, Mayor, did you request that to be added on there? We've had some issues with our detection.
I
on
didn't request to
Indian
be
Lake
on there,
Boulevard, so, And so Maple Drive North, the
Right.
left turn lanes on Indian Lake Boulevard to access Maple Drive North.
Right.
They, those loops were damaged during the mill and repave operations for Indian Lake Boulevard well over a year ago. And so we recently just had those loops cut. Previously, the decision was made not to cut loops into the new asphalt. But in order to provide that detection and minimize delays, we have opted to cut those loops. They've been cut. The connections and the cabinet will be, the contractor has confirmed with me today that they will be completed tomorrow. So that detection at that intersection should be operational
back.
tomorrow.
Back.
Yes.
Didn't damage it too much, did it?
No.
The road?
No, and they seal it.
Okay,
They do, they seal it.
okay.
And then Indian Lake Boulevard and Anderson Road, along Indian Lake Boulevard and Anderson and Indian Lake Boulevard and Saundersville, both have some damaged conduit that needs to be rebored. And so the contractor is actually out there today evaluating that, and then they'll provide an estimate on what it will take to repair that. So.
Okay, thank you.
we
It's
are-
frustrating the drivers. It's more frustrating the Sarah.
It's frustrating for generally everyone involved. But we are working on it, and it is a top priority. I've been in contact with them more than once a week. Try and get
Okay.
this resolved.
All righty. Let's go to Saunders Ferry Greenway update.
That project is, they're still working on the design build portion for the boardwalk, so we haven't received that submittal to date. But I have confirmed with the construction engineering inspector consultant that they still do intend to issue the notice to proceed effective October 3rd. And so that will begin the clock for the construction timeline. on that
Which
project.
is,
I believe that one is 300 days.
okay.
Let me just double check that.
And who was that again that gave you the notice to proceed? So,
The CEI, the construction engineering. I'm sorry, that one is a 360-day timeline.
Now, the Corps had to give their approval for this, right?
Yes, sir. Mhm.
The Corps.
Yes.
So
Those
there's no
approval-
problem with the Corps, with us moving forward. The Corps has given final approval.
That's right, yes, sir. Those permits from the Corps were included in the bid package as required by TDOT.
Are any of the other projects in this city being held up because of the Corps?
No, not currently, not to my knowledge. It's not gonna hold anything up because we have a 6-month lead time built into the light synchronization for materials. I have, for good measure, just requested their approval for the fiber installation along Main Street where Saunders Ferry Cabinet is, where that intersection is. There's not a real clear delineation of the state right of way and the core property. And the fiber will be installed in between the sidewalk and the curb, but to ensure we didn't have any problems through construction, I have just sent a formal letter just requesting their approval. That's in review and shouldn't be a problem.
all right, I've got also on here trash collection update, which we already had one. How about waste collection services?
That was a conversation with Mr. O'Brien. So,
Well, believe it or not, other of business.
I have a
We-
question.
Yes, sir.
How are we doing on our paving budget? I mean, we've been doing a lot of paving.
yes, sir.
So we allocated, was it 3 million, a little over 3 million for paving?
I believe it was just below that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so where do we stand on the portion of that we've already spent this fall?
So we, so far, we are in good shape. It looks like we may have an extra couple thousand. But of course, the indexes have stabilized, for a while they kept peaking every month, which affected our asphalt prices. But they have stabilized a bit. So I project that we'll have a couple to a few
We're gonna have,
100,000.
have any money left in the budget for paving in the spring.
I believe we may have some.
So,
I don't think we'll have 500,000 necessarily from that fund. We'll just have to,
Play it by ear and see.
it just depends on that index, really. That's,
and,
lower.
and consider it, I guess, at the mid-year budget,
yes, sir.
if there's, yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
I intend to bring in the mid-year budget amendment, something additional for repaving.
Okay, good. Because we've got momentum. People are talking about,
Oh,
you know,
man,
all the
they are.
paving.
I mean, they
So-
stop me
So,
in Kroger's all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been really good.
The August, I was just in finance committee, the August sales tax of 2022 compared to the August sales tax of 2021. I think 12.5% increase.
Wow, that's really good. I mean, I wish it was even better, but listen, I'll take that. And you should take it too. I mean,
That's just 1 month.
credit.
so Sarah, I hope you're pushing all that you can on these capital projects too, pushing them forward, you know, whether it's
Mhm.
bathrooms at Rugby Park, whether it's, you know, whatever the capital project is, I hope that staff is driving those
We have been,
forward. Okay,
yes, sir. I've been in regular contact with all of our consultants.
okay.
You have anything, Lee?
I just want to ask about FEMA reimbursements.
Mhm.
Have we received all of our money yet?
No, we have not. So we're finalizing the administrative portion because I think it's category Z, which is part of the project, but it's the administrative fees. We brought on a consultant to help us with that project. And so I believe that's been submitted and then they'll submit, then they'll finalize the project and we'll have a closeout. I can't remember the name of it, but something along the lines of a closeout meeting. And then they'll allocate those funds to be paid.
Is that a full refund or can we get additional administrative money or something to help pay for the consultant?
We were able to claim up to 5% of the total project cost. So we will be reimbursed for the majority of that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good to hear.
All right. Anything else? I guess we're gonna say,
Good meeting.
well done.
Good
Meeting,
meeting.
I need a motion.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
And then adjourned at 6:42.
Y'all know how to have